What's up, fellow gamers? This is Brandon from TopTenGamer.com coming at you with a look at my favorite IPS monitors for gaming. You know, a couple months ago I did a post on the best monitors for gaming, and it was strictly a TN panel monitor post, and I got a lot of responses from some of you who were just outraged that I didn't have any IPS panel monitors on there. Well, truth be told, I had always planned to make an IPS panel monitor gaming video so that I could separate the TN panel fans from the IPS panel fans. So here is your chance to take a look at my favorite monitors. I'm really excited about what we have in 2013. I really feel like manufacturers are going in the right directions in terms of what we are looking for. And what are we looking for in terms of an IPS panel monitor that we're going to use for an FPS or an RTS or a twitchy type game like a fighting style game? And here it is. We want low response times and we want low input lag. Also, if we could get a super high refresh rate on an IPS panel monitor, that would be ideal as well. In the past, that didn't seem to be possible, but I'll talk about in this video about a few options that we've seen this year that have actually allowed 1440p gaming at 120 Hertz refresh rate. Okay, so before I go on, I just wanted to go over a couple terms with you just so that everybody's on the same page. Input lag, that's the delay in time that from when I input something on my keyboard or my mouse or controller and when it's displayed on the screen. Response time, that's the time it takes for a pixel on your screen to go from black to white and back again. And refresh rate, that's basically the amount of times in a second that an image is drawn on your screen. So now that we have that in mind, what's a good response time for an IPS panel monitor? Well, I'd really recommend you look for something under 8 ms. Okay, 8 ms or under, better yet. And the reason I say that is because IPS panel monitors generally have a higher response time. There are a few out there that are now really good in that area, and I'm going to be sharing some of those with you in this video. But if you can get under 8 ms, you're doing pretty good. And really the blur and ghosting and things associated with that are pretty non-existent at that point. As far as input lag, I recommend you go for something that is under 11 ms. They say that, you know, one frame of input lag, which is about 16.5 ms, is anything under that is good. But in 2013, there's so many options available. If you can get something that's under 11 ms, then that's great. Okay, so in no particular order, the monitors I'm going to mention are first the Asus FS233, which is a relatively new gaming monitor that was developed by Asus and Team Fanatic. And one of the greatest parts about this monitor is its low response time. Something that you typically don't see in IPS monitors is that low response time. And this monitor has a 3.4 ms response time. Input lag, 0.6 ms when compared to a CRT. So, and that information is coming from prod.de. I'll put a link in the description below so you guys can see exactly where I'm getting that information. But overall, a super responsive monitor that's IPS that has incredible color accuracy. You're getting a monitor from Asus, which is, if you don't know who they are, then you probably aren't in the photo or video editing realm. But as far as Asus monitors are concerned, they build some of the most color accurate monitors in the world. And some of the most pricey monitors in the world too. So you get this monitor at about $400. If you can spare the expense, then it's going to be one of the best IPS monitors in the 24-inch category. If you want a little less expensive option, I highly recommend you take a look at the Dell Ultra Sharp U2312HM. This is another super low input lag monitor at 0.6 ms. I think it was the TFT Central guys who originally did that number, or at least reconfirmed that number. I'd seen that number vary at various websites, but when a reputable site like TFT Central comes up with a number, then you go on that. I'll also put that in the description below. The response time for this is a little bit higher at 8 ms. There are some options though for this particular monitor. They have an overdrive feature that's how they get that 8 ms number, is with the overdrive feature. But if you turn that on, then it really limits that blurring and ghosting. So it's about half the price of the Asus monitor. So really a good monitor if you're looking for a budget IPS panel option that's good for gaming. Okay, so if money's not an option, I highly recommend you take a look at the HP ZR30W, which is really gaming in style. It's the 30-inch HP monitor, IPS monitor. It's a super IPS panel monitor, so it's 30-bit. You get like more than 1.07 billion colors. This monitor is used in the professional photo editing and video editing realm, so it, you know, a little nicer panel than like these inexpensive EIPS panel monitors that you've been seeing. And also it has a 7ms GTG response time, which is pretty good for an IPS panel monitor, as well as an input lag of just 11.26 ms. So highly responsive monitor, which is pretty pricey at about $1,000, but again, if money's not an option, then this is definitely a monitor you should take a look at. You get a 2560 by 1600 resolution. If you get this, just go ahead and count on upgrading that video card that you got in order to run it at that full resolution. But overall, definitely the one you should look at if money isn't an object. Okay, a couple other monitors that you might want to take a look at. I'm just going to list them off here that kind of caught my eye. Was the Asus VH23AH, which is a 5ms response time monitor, pretty inexpensive monitor with support for up to 76 Hz refresh rate. You're going to have to use like the TopTenGamer tool and modify it in order to get that, as well as the Asus Mx279H IPS LED monitor, which is a 5ms G2G response time monitor with just 9ms input lag. It's a 27-inch model, and it's much less expensive than that HP model that I just mentioned. So if you have to have that 27-inch monitor, then take a look at that Asus model. Also this year, we've been looking at some overclockable 120 Hz 1440p IPS monitor options. I'm going to put a link in the description below to all this. I don't necessarily recommend this option for everyone. But there's been some talk about the Overlord X2720 OC, the Catleap 2B, and the QNIX 2710. Again, you're getting pretty technical there if you want to go and figure out how to get 120 Hz refresh rate IPS panel monitor. Then that's really a discussion for another time, but I'll put a link in the description below so that you guys can find everything about that. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, I do a write-up with each video, and I've put that in the description below, and you guys can go there to get more information. It's like getting the insider look at each video that I make, and also a look at more of the types of research that I do. For every video, I do hours and hours and hours of research, and I do an entire write-up before I even get to the point that I'm at. The problem is that I'm not perfect, and a lot of times I'll miss a monitor here or there, and then someone will say, hey, you forgot this monitor or this exact product that I like better. Hey, you know, just because I exclude something doesn't mean that it's not a good product. It just means that I haven't, you know, maybe I haven't heard about it, or maybe I didn't want to include it in this list because I thought the monitors that I had were just slightly better. But if you like a particular monitor, feel free to list it in the description below. Use terms like show us the input lag, the response time, the refresh rate of these monitors. That'll really help me as well as anybody else that comes to this video out. And I hope you like this video. If you do, press that like and subscribe button. We've got a lot of neat things coming up. I'm changing this background behind me. I've kind of got this awkward cloth up to block the light that comes through the windows and makes the video not so good. I'm building a setup over here that should be pretty interesting, I think, once it's all done. I hope you guys like it. It's been in the work for a couple weeks. Anyway, we've got some cool videos. I'm going to have a Battlefield 4 PC video coming up. More videos with professional gamers coming up. Again, like and subscribe this video, and we'll see you next time.